6-yard line. Thomas already got a crease. There he goes, and there he goes. He's gone. 94 yards on the opening play. Touchdown. Throwback screen to DeAnthony Thomas. Follows his blockers all the way. Touchdown. Klein looking right. Running now. Heading to the corner of the pylon. Touchdown. Going to go back to the sideline. Got Barner on the run, and he'll score. Touchdown, Oregon. Just like that. A game changer late in the second quarter. And at halftime of our Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, 22-10 as we're set to start the third quarter. Oregon out in front as Todd takes us through the Taco Bell touchdown spotlight.
Well, Kansas State controlled the tempo of the game for 29 minutes, but in the last minute, Marcus Mariota hit his tight end Colt Lyerla 2 times. Only 2 catches Lyerla had in the first half, but they were for 40 yards. Got him into scoring range as the clock was running down, and then Mariota had to leave the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, and found Kenyon Barner. And just like that, right before the half, a huge 10-point swing. And Oregon kind of reasserted itself there at the end of the first half.
You know, partner, a couple things you want to do. When you get in the red zone against Oregon, you want to score. Yeah. 3 times for Kansas State. They got a field goal, a touchdown, and a missed field goal, and also a false start penalty that made that field goal longer. Right. And then you better get back on defense, kind of like in basketball.
You got to get back. You got to play for the whole 30 minutes.
Right.
You know, and they played for 29 and kind of let up in that last minute, and that really cost them. But they get the ball to start the third quarter and have a chance to fight right back into it.
Rob Beard to kick. Tyler Lockett and Tremaine Thompson, both dangerous return men. Wait on the other end. And running up on it at the 9 is Lockett. Tyler Lockett got to the outside. Nice little shake at the 35 and out of bounds at the 36 as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, I asked Kansas State coach Will Snyder what went wrong when Oregon went to that fast tempo to end the half. And he said, well, for one thing, we gave up the exact same play twice, a little tight end delay right down the middle. We let him run free. And then when they started to scramble, we got out of coverage. He said, we've got to be more disciplined even when they pick up the tempo. And then I asked him about those 5 defensive linemen in the box, how that's affecting their run game. He said it's not something we weren't expecting. They've done it before. We've got to do a better job staying on blocks and not dance in the backfield.
Thanks, Holly. You see what Kansas State has done to open drives of the third quarter. They come up ready to throw. Klein near side, wide open is Tremaine Thompson, and out of bounds with a first down. This is one of the best second half teams in the country, Kansas State. So if you're a Wildcat fan, you can hang your hat on that.
Yeah, that is when they have been at their best. They rank 2nd behind Louisiana Tech this season, averaging 23.4 points per game in the second half. So that's kind of when they've been at their best. Of course, Oregon has been at their best in the first half, but they haven't had to play their starters in as many fourth quarters as Kansas State has.
And a lot of those games were blowouts by halftime. But good field position here after that first down toss at the 48-yard line. Empty backfield for Colin Klein.
This should have been a pass. I don't know why you have to call timeout there. And that's a waste of a timeout to me for Kansas State.
Timeout on the field. K-State. This is a 30-second timeout. This is the first charge timeout of the second half.
K-State went with an empty backfield. Oregon loaded up to stop the run. The numbers say you got to throw the football. You got single coverage all across the field. They should have been able to check to a throw there without having to use a timeout.
Reminder for you, Saturday, champion will be crowned as North Dakota State and Sam Houston State decide who's the best team in the nation in Division I football championship, presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Saturday, 1 o'clock on ESPN2 and also live on Watch ESPN. So a wasted timeout after a first down throw. And they set back up 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Different formation now with Colin Klein under center and both the fullback and John Hubert in the backfield. Lockett in motion to the right side. Just a little toss to Hubert, and he's losing about 3 on this deal.
Well, this is Colin Klein's fault, because typically on this play, when they pitch, he's going to peel back and be responsible for the end man on the line. Colin Klein wasn't quick enough getting his head around, and he didn't cut off the backside pursuit. That was Lacombo who made the play from behind.
So back-to-back, you would have to say, mistakes by the senior quarterback. First some indecision, and then a missed assignment. And let's see if he can make up for it now. Second down at 13. Again, play clock is winding down. Klein wants to take off. And now he's going to throw across his body. Incomplete, intended for Harper. And Ekere Olomu over there to make the play.
Now, this is not what Bill Snyder wanted to see his offense produce coming out of the locker room. They got a good kickoff return. They had an initial first down, and now a couple plays that have not looked too good, and a wasted timeout, and now third down and 12 in front of them.
And they've got to get all the way to the 42-yard line for a first down. This is their longest third down attempt so far tonight. And again, the cat and mouse game being played, and they almost ran out of time on that one too. Klein fires far side. Kind of a dangerous throw because Ekere Olomu was closing quickly on Tremaine Thompson over on that far sideline.
It's just not a good possession. You know, that one you called it. Play clock almost ran out on them. They tried to snap the ball quick to beat the clock, and just an ineffective third down play.
So a waste of their first possession of the third quarter, and Ryan Dorr will have to punt. High kick, but short. Braylon Addison's got a call for a fair catch in some traffic and makes a nice catch at the 23-yard line. Ducks in front and coming out for offense for the first time when we come back. Here in the third quarter.
You know, what Kansas State could use right here from their defense would be a turnover. Coming into the ball game tonight, tied with Kent State as the leader in the nation in turnover margin at plus 21.
They're -1 tonight on that interception on the final play of the first half thrown by Klein. Loss of a yard. John Sua made the tackle.
Sua and Latui, the two inside defensive linemen, have played well tonight. They've done what you need those inside guys to do. Create penetration and stop the inside zone run of Oregon.
Kenyon Barner hasn't done much as a runner tonight, but as a receiver he has. Mariota goes downfield. Wow, what a shot. Jared Milo says hello.
And a good clean hit. He didn't lead with his head. He came in with the shoulder. Separated receiver from football. And that's just good hard-nosed football.
Whoa, and Darrell Hawkins felt the impact on that one. And it brings up third down and long.
I would say if you're Kansas State, you better be aware of Lyerla, the tight end. Hurts you right before the end of the first half.
Mariota on 3rd and 11. Blitz coming from the secondary. Has to reload and now trying to run for it. And he got there and then some. Nifty run by the Ducks quarterback. First down. 15 yards on 3rd and 11, Ledge.
Got up hobbling a little bit at the end of this play, but boy, what a great decision to break a couple tackles here and stay in bounds instead of running out of bounds, getting that extra yardage for the first down.
Now they go to Kenyon Barner, and he weaves inside to the 39. Again, a guy that had a tremendous regular season, over 1,600 yards, 21 rushing touchdowns. Tonight's been held in check by that front wall of Kansas State. Here's the throw out to the mismatch problem. Lyerla again, first down. Picked up 12 more. This guy had 8 touchdown catches on the year from that tight end spot. So they're not all about just flash and dash with guys in the slot. And now Barner runs the other way, and he's into the secondary. to the 30-yard line. He just popped out the other side.
See, Chip said he needed to call a faster game. They're at a much faster tempo to start the third quarter, and that play, Kansas State did not get lined up in their run defense. The quick snap caught them off guard, and they got a big run from Barner.
19 yards for Kenyon Barner. Now they fake it to him, and they throw complete. Josh Huff. And Huff's got it to the 15-yard line.
This is what Baylor did to Kansas State in Waco the game we did. They played at a very fast tempo. Oregon, play for play, is even a little bit faster than Baylor.
Mariota to the end zone. Overshot a wide open Josh Huff.
Boy, he knew it too.
Yep.
You know, I think he felt like, you know what, I'm holding this ball too long. I better get rid of it. And right as he released, he said, oh, man, he was open.
And he still had some time left. So that at least gives Kansas State a chance to catch its defensive breath for a moment.
Well, who can establish tempo? For 29 minutes, Kansas State did. The last minute of the first half, Oregon did. And right now, they're controlling the tempo.
Second down and 10. Mariota's in trouble. And he got away and throws on the run, but it's too high for DeAnthony Thomas. Mariota again showing his athleticism in the backfield. Violet Tui was giving chase back there. And it's third down and 10.
I thought it was interesting when Chip described Mariota to us. He said, you know, he's the ideal fit for our offense. He's a quarterback who can run. Not a guy who can run who can also throw a little bit. Not a running back who can throw. He's a quarterback who can run.
Third down and 10. Play action. He's in trouble again. And he can run. Coming back the other way. And incomplete. Nice job by the defense and Nigel Malone to break up that play on the sideline.
Yeah, the receiver, Dungy, I think, was just trying to keep his feet in bounds, and he was concerned with the sideline and didn't tuck the ball away, and Malone made a nice play to knock it out.
So, stop for the Kansas State defense, and Maldonado will come in for the field goal attempts. It'll be about a 32-yard field goal attempt. Try to add to the lead. Kick on the way, and it's perfect. Maldonado tacks on 3 more, but still Kansas State with a stop assures that this is a 2-possession game right now with 11 minutes remaining third quarter. 25-10 Oregon. Capped a 62-yard drive in 11 plays, and again just over 2 minutes to get that 3. Jermaine Thompson, Tyler Lockett, both who averaged over 33 yards a kickoff return back deep. And it's Lockett from the 1. And Lockett behind Jermaine Thompson's blocking across the 35 and out to the 41-yard line. They keep giving Kansas State good field position. Now they got to do something with it. Well, coming up on Monday night, number 1 against number 2. Fighting Irish looking for their first national championship since '88. The Crimson Tide looking for their 3rd in the last 4 years. Coverage of the Discover BCS National Championship starts Monday night at 8 on ESPN.
I'll be down there, and that will be that game will be decided in the trenches. There's no question about it. Good news for Alabama. Barrett Jones, their center, says he will play. Has not practiced very much, but says he'll be good to go.
Colin Klein on first down the middle and in and out of the hands of Tannehill. He should have had that one. Alabama and Notre Dame, those two defenses, how about the way they played this year? One doesn't give up yards, one doesn't give up points. They don't give up much to anybody, actually.
A lot of talent on the field. And it's funny because a lot of people thought, myself included, there'd be a little bit of a drop-off for Alabama's defense after losing so many guys off the team last year to the NFL, but played at a very high level.
Colin Klein has only hit 1 of his last 5 passes. And that last one, Tannehill should have caught. And he's hit as he throws. Incomplete. He took a pretty good shot from Eric Armstead just as he was trying to deliver that football.
Well, Oregon is baiting and inviting Kansas State into the game that they want, and that is forcing Colin Klein to throw more than they can run the football. And that time, the guard, Pitts, just got shoved right back into the face of Colin Klein. This is not their comfort zone.
Nope.
To drop back and throw on 3 downs in a possession. But the formations and the personnel of Oregon are forcing them to do it.
That's what they had to do against Baylor in their only loss of this season. Klein hit as he throws again. That one almost made it to Harper, the receiver. And this time, Tony Washington made Colin Klein hit the deck.
See, this is a fast Oregon defense. They're not necessarily big up front, but they're fast and they can rush the passer. And on 3rd and 10, they're not worried about run. And they're not worried about quarterback scramble. All they're worried about is hitting the quarterback. And that time, Washington did it.
And much like Kansas State, they were plus 19 in turnover margin coming in. They have 1 interception tonight, and then 2 big hits on the quarterback on that series. And flag on the fair catch, as Jonathan Truman didn't give the return man enough room to make the grab.
Well, I think Truman got blocked into it, but he also tripped up the return man. So even though it was a clean catch, it's still a penalty on Kansas State.
Here's a call.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 21. 15 yards. First down.
Boy, and you don't want to give them 3 yards, especially when they can score so quickly. Great moments for my partner, Todd Blackledge. And you love being out here playing those games because you weren't used to warm weather at this time of year.
You know, we'd practice indoors, all bundled up, and we'd come out here, we were in shorts on the grass. It was unbelievable.
Here's Mariota on the run. Great wheels and great speed, and all the way down to the 29-yard line. A 32-yard romp by the Oregon quarterback, and here they are as fast as they can get everybody to the line, ready to run another play.
Nice read, little zone read by Mariota.
Now they whistle that play dead. Might have had a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 89. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know, normally the trickle down of what's popular comes from the NFL to college, but the reason that you're seeing more NFL teams go up tempo is because of the duress and the stress it puts on a defense play after play after play. And as good as Kansas State has played, this tempo is starting to get to them a little bit.
And of course, the zone read is RG3 doing it in Washington, Cam Newton doing it in Carolina, Russell Wilson doing it in Seattle. That's got a little bit of a change too, especially with all those young quarterbacks.
You got to be a little bit more careful how much you run your quarterback in the NFL, but the addition of it and the addition of some no-huddle tempo has really caught on.
And here's Barner, and he broke free. I don't think his knee ever touched, and he's inside the 15. Great balance by Kenyon Barner. I think Kansas State thought they had him down.
Sometimes big physical. Well, that looked just like the Michael Dyer run when Auburn beat Oregon for the national championship a couple years ago.
When everybody stopped except Dyer, who ended up being the MVP of that game.
You know, sometimes big physical teams wear you down by just punishing you and hitting you and hitting you. I think Oregon wears people down because they just keep going fast. They keep going fast.
And your tongue's hanging out.
That's right. Your tongue's hanging out, and all it takes is one missed gap, one missed assignment, one missed tackle, and it's 6 points for the Ducks.
Barner flares out of the backfield. The throw is a wide receiver screen, and DeAnthony Thomas paid the price for that one. Violet Tui let him have it. And it's 3rd down.
These two backs, Barner and Thomas, are not guys who are going to break a lot of tackles, but they do break ankles. I mean, because they can make people miss now in space, but you can knock them on the ground if you catch up to them.
Yeah, you got to catch them first. 3rd and 3. Mariota gives it off to Barner, and he's got it 1st and goal. Needed to get to the 4 or just inside, and they got down to the 3.
Just not seeing the same control of the line of scrimmage by Kansas State as we saw in the first half. That's their bread and butter play, the inside zone run. And that was a clean look for Kenyon Barner to pick up the first down.
He actually got it to the 2 where it's 1st and goal. High snap. Mariota handles it, and he's going to cruise to the corner. Touchdown, Oregon. Mariota with his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. And now, unless Kansas State's got an answer pretty soon, this one could get out of hand. Again, another touchdown drive that took only 2:26. And that one's blocked by Boyd. Flips it around, trying to get it in someone's hands to take it the other way. And so no further damage on the blocked extra point, but still 31-10. Well, Marcus Mariota, we told you, had great wheels, had an 86-yard run earlier this year. This one was good for over 30. And then it got him down close. He handled a high snap, got to the corner. Chip Kelly's offense working right now, 31-10.
On the previous play, we have an unusual ruling. The ball was blocked, caught, carried back into the end zone, and declared dead by the defense. That play results in a 1-point safety.
And folks, if you have never seen this before, here's another look at the play, and I'll tell you what I was going to tell you in a second. There's the block. Now retreating back into the end zone, and the lateral, and then declared dead. That's a 1-point safety. If you think you've never seen that before, it's the 2nd time it's happened to me. And I'm glad Ron Sherry explained it, because I had it happen against Texas and Texas A&M maybe 10 years ago. And I have kept the ruling in my briefcase this whole time.
After further review, the ruling on the field of a 1-point safety is confirmed. Oregon gets 1 point on the scoreboard.
Wow. If this ever happens again to me, I'm retiring. I'm sorry.
Well,
because it's a hard one to explain.
In the books, it'll just look like a made extra point, right?
It will, right. So it is 32-10. There have been very few of those in the history of college football, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, the key thing to know there is just that it was blocked, caught in the field of play, and then taken back into the end zone where the ball was declared dead. That's why it resulted in that. That's beautiful.
That's history
2
for you, partner. Yeah.
First for me, 2 for you.
Oh, man. Well, 32-10. That's getting the 32nd point the hard way. I'll tell you that much. Maldonado to kick. Lockett and Thompson have done a nice job on their kick returns all night, as they have all year. But after those kickoff returns, it's Kansas State's offense that hasn't been able to do too much with it. This one takes a hop for Thompson at the 11. Jermaine Thompson, and again he got the corner and got out over the 35-yard line before he's blasted out of bounds. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, during that last drive, you were talking about how different things can translate to the NFL, and I wanted to confirm for you, I did speak with Oregon's athletic director, Rob Mullins. He has had more than one NFL team contact him and ask for permission to speak to their coach, Chip Kelly. He said he did grant that permission, but he asked the NFL teams to please honor their kids, let them finish out this season. They deserve to have everyone's full attention for this game. He said the NFL teams have been great, and as reported, some of those interviews are possibly set up for tomorrow.
All right, Holly, thanks. For the 38-yard line, first down, Kansas State. They need some offense pretty soon here. This is Pease. He's done a nice job running the ball, but only got about 3. And, you know, Todd, we talked about Chip Kelly and what might happen. There's their offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, and his name has come up if Chip Kelly were to go somewhere. But that's a ways down the line. But I asked you a couple hours ago whether you thought it would have any effect on the kids, and I guess it hasn't.
No, I don't think so. And again, even before Chip became the head coach, when Mike Bellotti was the head coach, that idea of win the day, focus on the task at hand, has been something that Oregon has really adhered to. And I think it's showing tonight.
He's trying to go wide. Defense not going to let him. Kiko Alonso again, and another loss.
Well, we can't say enough about this Oregon defense tonight. You know, in the first half, when their offense was struggling, a couple uncharacteristic 3-and-outs, the defense held strong, particularly in the red zone in that first half. And right now, they've got the game in the position that they want. Kansas State only 11 yards so far in the second half.
And here they are at 3rd and long again. And now they're down to 50% on those 3rd down conversions because some of the earlier ones were short yardage. Colin Klein throws short, Lockett in and out of his hands, and it was Alonso again, the middle linebacker. The captain of the defense.
These two inside linebackers, Alonso and Clay, are very active. Alonso a little bigger, fast, physical, has a nose for the football, as you see right there. Gets that helmet right on the football and pops it out of Lockett's arms.
So Dorr has to kick again with 6.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Way up in the air. Addison, fair catch, misjudged it a little bit, and then made a nice diving catch. College football coming up on ESPN on Sunday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern. Golden Flashes and the Red Wolves in the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Kent State, Arkansas State, Sunday at 9 on ESPN and also live on the Watch ESPN app. So a lot of bowl games left and one BCS game remaining when we're done tonight, and that's for the national championship in South Florida on Monday.
It's a couple teams that lost their head coaches because they did so well this year.
That's right.
Dale Hazel leaving Kent State to go to Purdue. Gus Malzahn back to Auburn as the head coach.
Kenyon Barber readjusts his route and only got a yard. Nishak Williams, well, he's had a big night. Senior out of Sylvester, Georgia. He'll play at the next level without a doubt. All Big 12 performer. Take a look. Yardage now starting to pile up for Oregon. They didn't have the ball enough in the first half. And now they've got a 32-10 lead. Mariota down the middle and completes. Anthony Thomas again. 16 more yards.
See, Oregon's pass game is all predicated on their ability to run. And a couple good runs by Mariota, a couple runs by Barner have opened up some of the play action things down the middle. It started right at the end of the first half with the tight end, and now they've got more going on here in the 3rd quarter.
Here's Barner. 7 more for Kenyon Barner before Kansas State's defense can track him down.
You know, you like the poise and the leadership of Barner because he didn't have much room to run in that first half. They had him pretty well bottled up. Things are starting to open up a little bit for him here in the 3rd quarter.
Got 7 more on that carry. 2nd down and 3, play action. Mariota's going to take a shot. And he's got his man, but he dropped it. But there is a flag. In fact, there's 3 of them out there. Josh Huff, had he been able to hold on, would have had a touchdown. And Randall Evans was the guy covering.
Reach out in touch.
Pass interference.
Grabbed him.
Defense, number 15. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Josh Huff is their home run guy, the big play guy, and he ran right by Evans, and Evans grabbed him instinctively to prevent a touchdown.
And he almost caught it anyway.
Yep.
So better than another score anyway, but the walk-off, once they move the sticks to the 42-yard line. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Mariota on a quarterback draw. And again, Kansas State, even when they get to him, they've been unable to force a turnover. They could use a fumble or an interception right now, and Instead, they're on their heels again. Mariota finally throws on the sideline. A little bit of a tough throw to try to tuck it in there to Josh Huff. Alan Chapman was covering for Kansas State. So here's a third down stop that Kansas State really needs at the 4.5-minute mark.
Well, my guess would be Chip Kelly's looking at this as 2-down territory. I mean, he's not going to try a field goal from this distance. And at this point, with this lead, I don't think he'll punt. He'll go for it here regardless of what happens on third.
Barner empties the backfield. Mariota throws short of the first down, I think, to Rashawn Vaughn. Yeah, about a yard shy. But as Todd said, here's 4th and 1 now at the 33-yard line. Still getting the ball spotted here. And Ron Cherry, I don't know if they're going to bring the sticks out or what they're stopping play for.
I think they are, and this probably helps Kansas State. It slows Oregon down, slows their tempo down, and gives those big inside guys a chance to catch their breath, because they desperately need a stop here if it is short.
It's short by almost a yard. Oregon fans booing the measurement because they couldn't keep that pace up. As Todd said, gives K-State a little breather here with a 4th and 1 upcoming.
Typically in short yardage, they like to run to their left side behind their left guard Kyle Long, left tackle Tyler Johnstone. Big physical athletic guys. Of course, Kyle Long, the younger son of Howie Long. Brother, brother, a great defensive lineman in the NFL now.
4th down and 1. Kansas State brings an extra body up to the line and now backs it away. Mariota set back in the shotgun. And he gives it off to Barner, and he spins his way for a couple and a first down.
See, when you run inside zone, and that's, again, that's the bread and butter play for Oregon. You give that back vision, and he can cut that back anywhere in between the tackles. It's designed to go wherever there's a crease, but it's blocked play side to go behind the left guard, and Barner has that ability to bend it back if he sees an opening.
And when he hits those creases, there aren't too many guys that can catch him. Here he goes the other way. And this time, Kansas State, nice job by Arthur Brown. The middle linebacker, loss on the play. Arthur Brown, whose brother Bryce we saw as a freshman at Tennessee before he transferred to K-State, and now with the Philadelphia Eagles. So 2 good football players in that family. 2nd and 13. Barner met in the hole after a short game. Brown is there, and so is Meshach Williams. And he'll bring up another 3rd and long. Colin Klein wanting to get back out there with the offense. Not much he can do about it right now as Oregon's holding out of the football. 4 wide receivers here for Marcus Mariota. Tackle is really set back deep on the right side of the line. Looked like an illegal formation almost. Pass is complete down inside the 25 to Josh Huff.
Nice tackle by Alan Chapman in space against a fast receiver. Keep everything in front, bring him up short, and make him go for it on 4th down.
Well, they got the last 4th. This one's longer. Long 4 to go.
Now you got to pay attention to the 2 inside receivers here. You're going to have DeAnthony Thomas, who's right over here on the slot, and you got the tight end Lyerla right there.
4th down at 4. Mariota loads, and now Meshach Williams has got him, and there's the stop. The Wildcats desperately needed. First sack of the night.
Good coverage downfield created this opportunity for Meshach Williams. You see the play action. Mariota has nowhere to go with the football, and this time he's not able to get out of the pocket. Everett Benyard to third was the tackle, got beat by Meshach. We've seen Mariota be able to get outside quite a bit today. That time, Meshach said, nuh-uh.
So Colin Klein on the offense with an opportunity here from the 28-yard line. Pump fakes, wanted to go long. Now he does go that way over to Harper. And was the ball out at the end of the play? Guess not. Ruled down after a pickup of 6 or 7. Haven't been able to get anything downfield with the passing game. And that time of possession was all big for Kansas State in the first half. And the third quarters belong to Oregon.
But the key with time of possession is you have to pay it off with points. And they weren't able to do that enough when they had chances in the first half. And now Oregon has extended their lead.
2nd and 4. Hubert got the first down as he got out to the 39-yard line. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Colin Klein's a great leader, guys, but usually he does it by example. He's not a rah-rah guy over on the sideline. So I believe it means something when before this possession he got over, got in the faces of his offensive linemen, are like, come on, guys, you've got to help us out here. They were great in the first half, but they've taken a step back trying to get this running game going.
That drop line is what's unique. 10 yards rushing is all tonight for Colin Klein. Hubert follows his blockers well, and he's got 12 or 13 yards and another first down, and he's into Duck territory.
Keenan Taylor, the right guard, pulled out in front of him on that play. Good patience that time by Hubert. As we tick down to the end of the third quarter, there's still time for them to run the football if they can get some points in this drive. And they're not built offensively to just drop back and throw it every down.
Last play of the third quarter, barring a penalty. Klein loads, reloads, and now Colin's going to run with it. And made one guy miss. And he got a big gainer down the sideline. To the 32-yard line to end quarter number 3. His best run of the night. Good for 16 yards. Tostitos Fiesta Bowl started with a bang with DeAnthony Thomas, a kickoff return for a score. Oregon hasn't looked back since.
Have a good day.
Welcome back to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, heading to the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at that run by Colin Klein, courtesy of the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. His best run of the night off play action. Couldn't find anybody to throw to, tucked it down, and then somebody whiffed right there. Nice move by the big fella to get down the sideline and pick up 16 yards and put Kansas State at the 32-yard line. Got to get something out of this drive. Preferably a touchdown. I think they've got to have touchdowns all the way right now because Oregon's not done scoring themselves, I'm sure. Tyler Lockett in motion toward the ball. It gives to Hubert. Cuts it outside, trying to follow his tight end Tannehill, and he got collared on the sideline after a pickup of 7.
See, with the entire fourth quarter remaining, if you score a touchdown here, you still can have balance in your offense. If you don't score here, then you pretty much lose the value of a running game. And so this drive is critical for Kansas State to not only keep the ball but to score a touchdown so they can maintain balance in their offense.
Hubert cuts back to the middle and got 2, actually still not down, and now he is. Taylor Hart wasn't going to let him go anywhere. Hart, another big defensive end. The 2 defensive ends starters for Oregon are 6'6" and 6'7". 3rd down and 1. Got to be 2-down territory no matter what. For Kansas State, they might not get too many more chances down here near the red zone.
I think it should be a Colin Klein run to the right here.
It will be. And I don't know if he got there, Todd. Really close.
Just depends on the spot.
Tip of the football just touching our yellow line, but of course the chain gang will come out here to make sure that our line is perfect.
Credit the Oregon defense. They knew coming in they were going to face a different kind of quarterback in Colin Klein. More designed runs than they've ever seen. And they have made him earn everything running the football tonight.
Got it by that much.
Yep.
So the drive stays alive. Remember, their red zone misses tonight. They missed a field goal. They made a field goal, and they got a touchdown. And if they get back in here, they've got to keep this one going. Again, that full house backfield with Wilson, the fullback, in front of Hubert. Now they may shift to the other side, and that might mean option coming this way.
Again, the movement of Humuli, number 90, I think has caused some problems.
Throw out. Harper makes a nice cut. And another one back to the sideline before a whole flock of ducks finally shows up. He got 9 yards.
I bet Ricky Humuli's eyes lit up when Nick Aliotti said, you know what we're going to do in this game more of? We're going to put you in the game, and we're going to let you stand up in a 2-point stance and play like a linebacker instead of going in there and getting double teamed on the nose the whole game.
It's a whole different look.
He's on the nose right now.
And Nick Pitts.
False start. No 50 on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
5th penalty, I think, for Kansas State. Again, that's been one of their strengths coming in. One of the least penalized teams in college football, averaging 3 penalties per game. And they're already over that mark.
And they back themselves up again. Near the edge of that red zone at the 18. Second down at 6. Hubert's been good on this drive, and he's good again. Looks like he might have another first down. Not sure they won't have to have another measurement.
Oregon doesn't typically worry about the clock. But right now, they're kind of content to let Kansas State burn clock. They certainly want to keep them out of the end zone, which they've been able to do pretty successfully tonight. But they don't mind Kansas State using time off the clock right now. In fact, in this third quarter, in the second half, Oregon has about a 4-minute advantage in time of possession.
Very seldom anymore do you see 2 measurements on the same series. Both first downs. Will Snyder, who's resurrected Kansas State's football program twice in his career, Big 12 Coach of the Year. Stadium's got his name on it. There's a road by the stadium with his name on it. He is Manhattan, Kansas to a lot of people, and he's done a wonderful job with this football team again. They were picked 6th in the preseason polls in the Big 12, and here they are, the Big 12 champs.
I think what Colin Klein's trying to say is, hey, guys, we have to pick up our tempo a little bit. You know, we're behind a couple scores here. We've got to get in and out of the huddle a little bit faster, get a little more sense of urgency about our business here.
2nd and 8 at the 10. Again, looking over that sideline takes extra seconds that might be precious later. Klein, shovel pass to Hubert. Nice cutback and in, untouched. Touchdown, Kansas State. 10-yarder. Great cut by John Hubert on the run. And that's his first touchdown reception of the year. Michael Clay is the guy down on the play. One of the defensive captains, linebackers that Todd was talking about, how active they've been tonight.
Tyson Coleman right here is the guy who's going to get played by Colin Klein on the shovel pass. He thinks he's going to get the quarterback, tosses it underneath. Nice job blocking. Keenan Taylor is the guy that was blocking on Michael Clay. Play looks to be okay.
So a good drive. 5 minutes it took from the end of one quarter to the beginning of the other, but a much needed touchdown, and trying to get it back now to a 2-possession ball game is Anthony Cantelli. And it's good. So there is hope for Kansas State, but it's still Oregon comfortably in command. Colin Klein, the touchdown pass to John Hubert. Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Kansas State's closed the gap a little bit, 32-17. After going 72 yards in 11 plays in 5 minutes, and capping it with the shovel pass from Colin Klein to John Hubert. And Cantelli will tee it up. The Anthony Thomas, first time he touched it tonight on a kick return. First play of the ball game. 94 yards for the touchdown. And that sort of set the table for how Oregon's played in this one tonight. And Thomas will have another chance from around the 3. Runs out of real estate on the far side and the 29-yard line.
Marcus Mariota has not had a big number night. He threw for 2 touchdowns, 166 yards passing. He's also run the football effectively, 62 yards and a touchdown. But the thing about it is his poise. He's a redshirt freshman, his first bowl game, and he is kind of had the upper hand. Of course, his offense has a little bit. Colin Klein, pretty good on that last drive, but a rough night for the most part.
Colin Klein finishing his Kansas State career, and he was a Heisman finalist this year. You got to look at Marcus right now with the future he has in front of him, and he might be one of those guys that heads to New York someday. Pickup of a yard for DeAnthony Thomas. Randall Evans made the stop.
It's interesting because a lot of people thought Oregon was going to have some problems this year because they were losing Darren Thomas, who had another year of eligibility, could have come back as a starting quarterback. Michael James, their running back, was gone. Chip Kelly said, you know what, we knew what we had with Barner and Mariota, and their backup quarterback, Brian Bennett, is pretty good too.
Here's Barner for 4 more. We're under 11 minutes remaining.
Barner was one of those guys that was kind of always the second fiddle to Michael James, but whenever he played and got the ball, he was extremely productive. And this year, in his first year as the feature guy, he has had a monster year.
He had 195 yards or more rushing 4 times this year. That's incredible. Mariota fires behind DeAnthony Thomas. That one into the dirt.
Well, the good thing there for Kansas State, not only do they get the stop, but the clock stops on the incomplete pass.
And we'll bring up a punting situation for Jackson Rice. And Colin Klein getting his headgear back on and ready to come back out there. As Todd said, that didn't last long. Only 68 seconds off the clock.
Big punt.
Jermaine Thompson trying to get his hands on this one. Backpedals, made one guy miss at the 10. Now he's got a little bit of a wall, but a flag's going to fly in. We're going to have a illegal block on the return.
And a long field facing Colin Klein in Kansas State.
Carl Miles might have been the guilty party.
On the return, we have a block in the back. Number 19 of the return team. Half distance, first down. Timeout on the field.
That backs it up, and Kansas State's going to be in a hole. There's the illegal block. The good news is they have the ball back in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl when we come back.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is brought to you by Tostitos. Where there's Tostitos, there's a party. The new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. Vizio, ranked highest in customer satisfaction with HD TVs by J.D. Power & Associates. And Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas.
Kansas State starts inside its own 10, trailing 32-17. Angelo Pease with Colin Klein in the Wildcat backfield. The good news is they've got the ball back. The bad news is they're a long ways from the end zone. Colin Klein from his own goal line. Flushed out of the pocket. Throws on the run. Completes it out to the 13 to Tyler Lockett.
I think with your Kansas State, you got to have a little bit more urgency about you. And you got to be smart to use the field. Use the sidelines to stop the clock. You know the clock stops on first downs. You don't have to go to a straight out hurry up offense, but you have to play with more urgency than you have at any point in the game so far.
3 wideouts to Colin Klein's right. But he'll keep it on the ground to Pease. Pease running that way. Got some good blocks from his wideouts. And he got it out around the 28-yard line. 14-yard run by Angelo Pease.
Nice little change up with Pease. Looked like he was going to bust this all the way outside. And he made a nice quick cut. Planted that right foot, cut inside for the first down. And again, the clock stops as they reset the chains. And you're back ready to snap the football.
With about 9.5 minutes remaining, they'll get the snap. And now we got false start again. This time it's Cornelius Lucas.
78 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And that one just flat looked like he didn't know the snap count. That's the 7th penalty against Kansas State, and that's a lot for them.
I think Kansas State's taking too much time at the line of scrimmage. At this point, you're not going to get the perfect play called from the sideline.
Yeah.
You got to go up there, let Colin Klein, your senior quarterback, call more from the line of scrimmage and run your offense.
And here he is trying to run to get back to the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage, and can't get there. We got a couple. Now again, as Todd says, you got to get lined up and go, because we're under 9 minutes now remaining. And remember, they used one of their timeouts way back the very beginning of the third quarter.
They need Lockett to make a big play for him in the slot. And he's a guy that could create a big play opportunity.
Crossing route to Lockett, but only a gain of 3. That's about all they've completed is some of those short crossing routes tonight.
Again, you know, this Oregon defense that's played well, and they've played some good wide receivers and quarterbacks in the Pac-12. That's what you face week in and week out. I don't think they feel threatened down the field by these Kansas State wide receivers.
Harper is up to the top of your screen. And again, way too much time being used. 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats. Klein throws and in and out of the hands of Tremaine Thompson. Broken up by Troy Hill on the sideline. And so they started at their own 8-yard line and could only get out to around the 28s, and they're going to have to kick it away. Braylon Addison has been doing a great job on fair catching tonight for Oregon on the punt returns, and he's got to be sure-handed about this one too. There's the fair catch. He bumped into his own man, and he still made the catch. Tell you what, this guy's got pretty good hands.
Yeah. He caught that one on his back, didn't he?
He did. At this point, you don't want to drop any. And right on his rear end, he makes the grab. Lead with 7:38 remaining. Kenyon Barner out close to the 45-yard line.
They kept him in check in the first half, but he's gotten going in the second.
They kept him in check because they changed the line of scrimmage, and the front of Kansas State controlled the game in the first half. That's not been the situation here in the second half. The Oregon offensive line has had the better of it, and that means more space and more creases for Kenyon Barner.
And Kenyon is up to 93 on the ground now. And here's Oregon, everybody looking to the sideline, taking as much clock as they can, working it down under the 7-minute mark before their next snap. Barner again with second effort gets the first down.
You know, regardless of what happens with Chip Kelly, the reality is this is a young, talented football team. I mean, you've got 65 freshmen and sophomores on this football team right now, and a lot of your key players are coming back next year for whoever is the head coach of the Oregon Ducks.
And again, they milk the clock for as much as they can here with a first down at the 49-yard line. Mariota with Barner in the backfield. Gives it off to him again, and Kenyon almost broke that one. Nigel Malone holding on for dear life. Still a 15-yard pickup, and he's over 100 yards on the night.
Now, just again, you give him a little crease. He didn't have much room in the first half. He didn't get frustrated. He didn't get discouraged. He just kept staying with it.
And now, because they got a chunk play out of it, they go back to somewhat of a hurry-up offense. You were talking with us today about that. When they get a big play, they tend to turn around and want to get another big play on you.
Yeah, no matter where they are in the game, you know, even though it behooves them to use as much clock as possible right now, that's just not their nature. They're going to do what they do.
There you go. No huddle, no mercy. Now they do slow it again to get it down closer to the 5-minute mark. High snap. He gets it to Barner anyway, and Kenyon's got another first down. Well, Childs made the stop, but 6 more yards, and they move the chains again. At the 24, first down. Mariota wants to snap, and now he'll stand back up, look to the sideline, get it down under 5 minutes. Leading by 15.
Talk about the youth of this team. I mean, you look at that offensive line. You've got 2 seniors at the guard position, but a sophomore center, a redshirt freshman left tackle, and Tyler Johnstone, and a sophomore right tackle.
Barner with a stiff arm on Brown, of all people.
Well, did you see him stay in bounds, too? Smart play by Kenyon, trying to keep the clock going, staying in bounds. Again, you know, they didn't change the plays they called. They're just starting to control the line of scrimmage now. They still stick with the same running plays. It's just a different look now for Kenyon Barner because the offensive line has gotten control of the line of scrimmage. 6th
straight run by the Ducks. And it's all working for him. And Kenyon Barner starting to take over. And that offensive line, as Todd said, doing its job. And they've got it down at the 12-yard line of Kansas State. Trying to ice this thing away. Kenyon Barner down near the 6. Kenyon Barner approaching the school record for all-purpose yards. Wow. That's a lot of production. 2nd down and 4. They can get a first down at the 2-yard line. The way Barner's been finding openings right now, it might not take him that long to get in the end zone again. 4-minute drive, and they've worked it down to 3.5 to go in the ball game. Barner slips, took himself out of that play.
You know, the one question I would have about Oregon as you look ahead, as Barner leaves and his replacement as the feature back DeAnthony Thomas, there's about a 20-pound difference in weight,
yep.
you know, and you see Barner right now running a lot of inside runs, and he's not a guy who's going to run over you, but he's strong enough to run inside. And you know, can DeAnthony Thomas take that same kind of pounding on inside runs? That'll be a big question, how much weight he can gain without losing his speed and his elusiveness that makes him so special.
Byron Marshall might come into play there,
yep.
too, the true freshman who's put up some pretty good numbers despite being the number 3 guy. And again, they'll bring Kenyon down shy of the 5-yard line. But the important part is how much clock the Ducks used on this drive. They really didn't need any more points, but they have used 5 minutes and 4 seconds.
Timeout on the field. K-State.
Kansas State's going to take its second timeout. They've got 1 remaining and just 2.5 remaining in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by All States. DeAnthony Thomas not only opened up the game with a 94-yard kickoff return for a score, he took this pass to Mariota, followed his blockers beautifully, and took it in to give them a 15-0 lead on his 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. He sort of set the stage, and then his running mate, Kenyon Barner, has taken over. In fact, he carried all 9 plays of this current drive that set up Maldonado for a 23-yard field goal attempt. Trying to make it 35-17, and Maldonado does. A 10-play drive, over 5 minutes used up. And Kenyon Barner does a wonderful job getting him down there to get the field goal that's just going to pretty much ice this. 2.5 minutes remaining. We talked about 3 hours ago who was going to get their ball game in their hands. And for a half, almost a half, it looked like Kansas State until that 46-yard touchdown drive at the end of the second
and you know,
quarter.
They set the tempo. They possessed the ball. They didn't score enough points when they had opportunity.
Right.
And to beat Oregon, you have to score points. And then Oregon, starting with that last minute of the first half and then into the second half, took over the game and set their tempo for the game. And you know the thing I'm impressed with, Brad, I'm impressed with the focus of the Oregon team. So much rumor speculation about Chip Kelly. Is he even going back with the team tomorrow? Is he going to stay here and interview with some NFL teams? Not just him, not just the players, but the assistant coaches. Because we asked Nick Eliotti, has he said anything to you guys? He hasn't said anything. And those are guys that are more concerned about where they might be and what their future might be, the assistant coaches, than the head coach. You know Chip's going to wind up okay, whatever he does. It's the assistants who there's a little bit more uncertainty with. And those guys all have kept their focus and their attention to detail and put together another masterful BCS Bowl performance.
Their 4th straight BCS Bowl, and now they've got a 35-17 lead. They came in number 4. Now, depending on what goes on Monday night, they could finish as high as 2nd in the country in the final standings, depending on if Alabama was to beat Notre Dame. But if Notre Dame made it a 2-point game or something, that might still be number 1 and number 2. But Oregon still has a case, because the only game they haven't lost in regulation this year. The only game they lost was to Stanford in overtime. And speaking of number 1 and number 2, Monday night, Discover BCS National Championship. Number 1 Notre Dame, number 2 Alabama. Coverage starts on Monday, 8 Eastern on ESPN, and also live on Watch ESPN.
You know, last year in Alabama's championship win over LSU, it was A.J. McCarron's coming out party, throwing the ball on first down. Beautiful night. Could this be the coming out party for Everett Golson, the quarterback for Notre Dame? It'll be a fun game to watch.
He's certainly improved as the season's gone along. Golston, that is. And A.J. had another wonderful year for the Tide. Colin Klein getting set to end his career at Kansas State, and it's going to end with an interception. Eric Dargan bringing it back the other way. And finally run out of bounds. 31-yard interception return. As we take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam replay of this one.
Well, both interceptions for Colin Klein, kind of in desperation mode right at the end of the first half, and desperately needing a big play down the field. Double coverage, nicely played by the safety coming to help Dargan. And the last Kansas State drive probably snuffed out in one play.
Not the way Colin wanted to go out with a 2-interception night after a brilliant career. And the joy that was on his wife Shaylin's face earlier when he scored a touchdown, it's dissipated. And for this Kansas State crowd also, that has taken an effect. And I mean, they came in full force to back this team in this Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. There's a lot of purple in this building, but a lot of it is filed out now. And it's the Ducks fans that are having a good time.
Well, you know, these are two outstanding football teams, but I mean, Oregon coming in, most people thought was a little bit better, and through the course of 60 minutes has proven that they're a little bit better. This is a team that was, you know, a missed field goal in overtime, potentially away from playing for a national championship.
Yep. And with a minute and a half to play, Marcus Mariota is going to take a knee here. We want to thank our crew for a sensational year. Scott Johnson and Phil Dean in the truck, our leaders up here in the booth. Clint Deans, Pat McGrath, the best in the business, our spotter and statistician, and everybody, all our guys in the tape and all our camera people. We're a family on the road, so the family splits up after tonight and goes separate directions. Some to basketball, some to other things.
I go to watch basketball.
That's
you
what
go
I'm
to
talking
broadcast
about.
basketball.
Another knee, and that's about going to do it. Now the Oregon Ducks proved that they are indeed worthy of their ranking. Chip Kelly getting hugged by his players on the sideline. They're wondering right now, I'm sure, if they'll get a chance to hug him again next year. And got to take one more snap, I guess. Bill Snyder again, a remarkable year for his Wildcats, but they're going to finish 11-2. And the final score is 35-17. Two really good coaches and much different philosophies and approaches, probably. One's old school and one couldn't be any more new wave. But a heck of a football game. And I know a lot of respect between those two guys. Colin Klein, his brilliant career at Kansas State comes to a close. Hopefully for him there's an opportunity maybe in the NFL and maybe at some other position. Most people don't think he's a quarterback. But another BCS win for Chip Kelly. He's with Holly Road.
Well, Coach, the tempo of this game really started to change, and your success started to change when you picked up the tempo. How did you have that happen so effectively?
You just had to get the ball back. I thought they did a real nice job in the first half of extending drives and keeping us off the field. But, you know, when our guys responded, I think got a little spark at the end of the first half. And then, you know, our guys in the locker room, I told me, hey, I got to do a better job calling plays in the first half is what it's all about.
You guys did a great job on Colin Klein. He'd been so effective rushing the ball. What was your plan that kept him in check?
No, it wasn't really complicated. It was just trying to get a lot of guys to the ball and tackle him. You know, he's a great player, one of the greats of college football. And you know, there's a couple. One down my sideline, and it was, you know, I had my heart in my throat a couple of times watching him run around. But our guys just made plays when they had to make plays.
Your freshman quarterback's named the MVP. How do you feel about that?
Cool. I love the kid.
You should. And, Coach, you wanted to win today before you turned your attention elsewhere. I talked to your athletic director. He said he has given some NFL teams permission to speak to you. So when will you speak to teams, and will you?
I have no idea. I'll ask Rob. Again, I told my agent's the best. I told him I wasn't talking to anybody until after this game was over. Our focus was totally on this football game. If for some reason some teams want to talk to me, it's because of those players over there. We got an unbelievable team and an unbelievable program, and any success we have is because of those guys.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, hon.